What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy Porter Rock 77 back with another video. Doing a little live stream.
We all have dreams.
Hold up. I
What's
got
yours?
this background noise. What's going on? How's everything? How's everybody doing? In a few minutes or about a half hour, I'm going to be on the multiplayer podcast. Check it out on Zaire's channel, Next Gen 720. We have a good time. Those are my brothers. You're going to hear us argue, but I'm going to tell you, we're probably one of the rawest podcasts because we go in on each other. We give no fucks. We go in. But we do it with brotherly love. You know what I'm saying? It's just the one podcast where it doesn't matter what you rep. You know, it's not a circle jerk podcast like, you know, some other podcasts out there. This one's raw. We will say what the fuck we want to say, you know? So I'll be on there. So check it out. And if you're new, welcome to my channel. Every Wednesday, except this past Wednesday, but every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern, I do a 60 frames, podcast. I invite different types of personalities, YouTubers, whoever, to have different opinions. Xbox dudes, PC dudes, Nintendo dudes, mobile gamers, whatever. Have different voices, different opinions, so we can have good conversation, Again, my podcast is not a circle jerk. It's not as crazy as multiplayer podcast because that shit is raw. It's meant to be raw. It's meant to be crazy. My podcast is a little bit more structured, but again, all right? So the question is, shout out to the people in the comment section. To Ken God, what's up? Hellspawn Ray, what's up? NSZF, what's good? So why am I making this? Well, I'm going to show you why. This is what I'm going to do. And this is, let me tell you something. When I talk about Xbox and Microsoft, I try not to do it to demean it or to make it seem like it's a bad product. All right, let me tell you something. It's okay to enjoy your product. It's okay to have a preference. All right, it's okay. You're always gonna have a preference. That's it. And this goes beyond gaming. It's like cars. There's people who prefer Mustangs over Camaros and vice versa. There's people who prefer Mercedes over BMW over Audi and vice versa. There's fanboys in every type of product. All right. I remember I have a homegirl who knitted a sweater, for a friend of ours, for like a baby shower, whatever. And she didn't knit it. She crocheted or whatever. She's a crocheter. But when I said knitted, she got pissed off. She's like, knitted use two hands. We use one hand. And I'm like, what the fuck? And then I learned there's a fanboy war between people who crochet or whatever the fuck and people who knit. There is preference wars in every product. I mean, hell, sports is probably the biggest representation, but that's commonly accepted. But go ahead and tell me there's no war between Windows and Mac, iPhone and Android, Mustangs and Camaro. There's preference and whatever. The biggest fear I have, and it's because I personally witnessed this, is when the fans absolutely sees nothing wrong with their company. And the reason why I say I seen this happen because I seen it with Nintendo in the late 90s with the N64. A lot of the things some of you Xbox fans are doing are the same shit I seen with Nintendo fans in the late 90s. Media bias, everybody's hating on Nintendo. Oh, they only love Sony because it's casual and doing all this stuff. The games aren't gameplay, it's casual, it's easy. That's why everybody loves it, and yada, yada, yada. And y'all doing almost the same thing, right? It just seems like Microsoft can do no wrong. That Microsoft's getting the shorthand, the short stick. You know what I'm saying? Things like that. And what I'm trying to point out is this. And Bam Bam was good, Bam Bam. Let me show you two things. Let's start out with, and I was gonna make a separate video, but I might as well talk about it. Let's talk about this sniper game, whatever, and how if you pre-order it on PlayStation or on PC, Bam Bam, Hellspawn, just say yes, type Y quick if you all know what I'm talking about. I'm not going to rehash or recap it. I think pretty much, we're all knowledgeable gamers. And I say I probably got the most knowledgeable subscribers on YouTube. So you guys know what I'm talking about, right? Mark, what's up? But everybody knows what I'm talking about. That Sniper Elite game, I think it's called. You know, yeah. So everybody knows what I'm talking about. So what's the instant reaction from the Microsoft community? It's the developer. They're hating on Microsoft. Bias. They call that console expo. Every single Microsoft fan. And I'm even surprised, even the moderate, because there's a lot of moderate Xbox YouTube channels. I follow, some Xbox, I follow Xbox dudes. You know what I'm saying? Some for the entertainment, like the extreme ones like Zaire, K Mega. I like following them because they're funny. And then I like to follow the serious ones because they're informative. You know what I'm saying? Because they're gaming. I like to know. Sniper Elite. But every single one of them all blame the developer, it's bullshit, whatever, whatever. And I could get that. As a first reaction, I get that. It's a simple thing to understand, right? Blame it on the developer. They're choosing preference. They're fucking over the Xbox fan base. Okay. But here's the thing where and I don't want to hype myself up, but like I said before, I told a story on one of my other videos that I've been following the industry going back to the PS1 and N64 simply because I didn't understand why the things I enjoyed on Sega Genesis, Super Nintendo, TurboGrafx 16 just automatically disappeared when I loved it. Like the Sega CD, the Bazooka, Rob the Robot, TurboGrafx 16 CD. I love those things. Those things were fun. Now, granted, nostalgia is a heck of a drug, but I didn't understand why it was here one day and gone the next with very little support. And then I learned, once I got into actually learning the industry side. So I've been watching these consoles, fans, the policies of Nintendo, Sony, and when Microsoft came in with Xbox. I've been watching these guys all the time since then. Now, the reason why I'm telling you this is because I remember the policies Microsoft had. What's up, JW? What's going on, everybody? Thank you for showing up. Now, you guys might be thinking, damn, what's Puerto Rock doing? What's he talking about? He's bringing up some ocean. This guy bugging? Is this guy on drugs? Cocaine's a hell of a drug. Am I snorting crushed oxycontin? What's the connection? Well, the connection is this. Have you considered the fact that the reason why you guys ain't getting the season pass for pre-order is maybe because of a Microsoft policy? Now, you guys might think, Microsoft, what the fuck does Microsoft have to do with this? Well, let me show you why, me remembering generation after generation, something clicked in my head. And I remembered a scenario like this. So I'm going to screen share something with you guys, all right? Bear with me, all right? You heard my sound, though, right? I had to make sure y'all hear that, all right? But I'm going to screen something with y'all, all right? Okay, we're screen sharing, right? We're screen sharing. Get the hell out of here. We're screen sharing, right? All right, everybody see my screen share? You see this little frozen thing of the Honda commercial? Y'all good? My screen sharing working? I hope it's working. Somebody holler at me. Make sure that you can see my screen before I click on the thing. Y'all good? All right, I'm going to click on what I'm talking about. Everybody good? Just give me, yeah. Okay, cool. Now watch. I'm going to click on something. You see this article? Left 4 Dead 1 DLC pricing, not Valve's decision. April 9th, 2009. Valve, I can't pronounce the name, has told Eurogamer that the upcoming downloadable Left 4 Dead 1 expansion Crash Course costs money on Xbox Live because Microsoft insisted upon it. The Washington-based developer traditionally refuses to charge for DLC, as Robin Walker put it when they asked him to, you buy the product, you get the content for free, and this explains why. We own our platform, Steam. Microsoft owns theirs. They wanted to make sure there's an economy of value there. Falsack, whatever his name is, I don't want to mess it up, told Eurogamer today when asked about the 560 points price tag for Crash Course. End screen. You know what I'm saying? This is what I'm trying to say. Okay? This is what I'm trying to say. All right? How can I get rid of it? No, unlock this shit. Yo, no, get out of here. Go down. I need to stop sharing. There you go. Stop sharing. All right. So I'm stop sharing. We all learned this lesson. If you don't remember the past, you're doomed to repeat it. So when that Sniper 4 Elite thing came out, my memory banks swelled in. I'm thinking, I know I've seen this before. I know I saw this. I know I saw this before. We like, oh, I'm sorry. Like what Zaire says, we seen this movie before. I know I saw it before. You understand what I'm saying? Now I did a little digging, did a little research, brought back my memory banks, and Microsoft had a policy where they weren't trying to hear about free DLC on Xbox, despite the fact that it was free on PC. And that was a big deal back in 2009, whatever. It was huge. Now PC gamers were ragging on Xbox 360 dudes, ragging on them, talking about, our line is free and we get free DLC while they were making fun of Xbox dudes. And I remember that shit clearly. Now, us PlayStation gamers, we didn't have a dog in the fight because we didn't even get the game. We didn't even get Left 4 Dead. It stood on console for Xbox and PC. We were asked out. We were treated like second class gamers back then. Okay? You know what I'm saying? So what am I trying to say this? Why am I trying to tell you guys? You have to be careful. You could be a Microsoft fan. You could be an Xbox fan. But don't do what Nintendo's fan did back in the 90s, where everything was everybody else's fault and Microsoft can do no wrong. Think about it. If Season Pass, you could say, all right, if Season Pass was only free on PS4, then you could say, all right, it might be a Sony deal or something. But it's also free if you pre-order it on PC. And PC doesn't really have a first-party platinum holder. You understand what I'm saying? It's pretty much an open platform. So you have to ask yourself, why is it not the same on Xbox? And it may not be the developer. It might be Microsoft policy. Because you have to understand this. If that Season Pass is free for those who pre-order, that means those who buy the game, right? They don't need to buy it. If they don't buy it, the platform holder doesn't get a check. Like Sony, all those people who buy Sniper 4 Elite and get the Season Pass, Sony technically is not going to see no money from that Season Pass. Because when games and content are sold on the store, the owner gets a check. They get money. All right? Sony allowed it for whatever reason. Okay? I personally do not think Microsoft is greenlighting for that deal to happen for you guys. And everybody assumed it was the developer. Okay? I just showed you an article. That was Microsoft's policy. They were not about to give free shit away. Because if they give shit free away, if they give shit free, they don't get money off those DLCs. They don't get money off that content. They want to make money off their Xbox Live store. And giving free stuff doesn't help. So when I saw that Sniper 4 Elite, it brought back that memory from 2009. All right? Okay? That's just me. Okay? Now, on to the next topic before I head out here. And I'm going to screen share again. And this one. It's almost like a redundant story now. Now it's just getting silly. Yeah, screen share this sucker. All right. I'm screen sharing. There we go. Okay. Let me go back here. Apparently, and I put this link in my description box, the developers of Knights of the Old Republic 2 were about to launch an RPG for the Xbox One. And once again, Microsoft canceled it. And what the developers are saying is it comes down to budget and it comes down to having a champion at Microsoft. It comes down to somebody being able to sell the game. He says, I can see games that had champions and weren't canceled until 80 million was spent. There's games that had a 10 million budget and had a champion and ended up the budget was 60 million and is shipped. And I can understand to a certain point, you need somebody to speak on the game, to boost confidence in the product. But this is just another RPG, another one that they canceled. It's bugged out because I'm thinking, is Microsoft allergic to RPGs? Because that console got no exclusive RPGs, none. That shit's mind-boggling. Even your biggest franchise, which was Fable, that shit is gone. So they didn't greenlight developers from Night of. You would think the fact that it's the developers from Night of the Old Republic too, that alone is credibility. That alone is, hey, why should we make this game? Because the developers of Night of the Old Republic 2 are making it. That's why we're making it. Oh, sounds good to me. Greenlight that motherfucker. All right. Then your own studio, you close them down. And then Platinum Games, well, let me not reopen that wound because I already ranted about that. It's just crazy how Microsoft is just canceling shit left and right like nothing, bro. Yo, it's crazy. I honestly think they actually believe canceling games is best for gamers. That shit is bananas. Now, everybody could say about what they want about Sony and the delays. Yes, a lot of games they delayed this gen or they didn't release on time. But I'm going to tell you, time and time again, I will take a delay over a canceled game any day of the week, twice on Sunday. You know, because a delay game only means that the game you want to play is set forth on another date. But you will get that game. A canceled game, there's no going back. It's done. We will never know how terrible or how great Scalebound will be. We just won't know, you know. And it's not easy to predict games. I said that for when in my video, and I'll put it, you know. I'm gonna put my little symbols, my little end cards for subscribe, and I'll put my Scalebound, man. But you gotta have faith in the gamers. Look at Neo. Look how popular this shit is sold out. You try to order on Amazon, it's saying a 1 to 2 month backlog. Got like an 87 Metacritic. It is a huge hit. You never know. Everyone thought that the big RPG of February was going to be Horizon. Horizon's not out yet. It still could be a big hit. But no one was even thinking about Neo. Neo was like a niche game. That shit might end up top 10 in NPD, the way that shit is selling. No one predicted that. I knew the game was going to be good, but I didn't think it was going to blow up like this. That shit took me by surprise. You got to put faith in the gamers first. You know what I'm saying? Got to have faith in the gamers first. I believe in the gamers. Xbox gamers. I don't know about Nintendo gamers. I don't know about y'all. We'll see. The jury's out. But PC gamers, PlayStation gamers, got to have faith in us. You'd be surprised at what we'll gravitate to. You know what I'm saying? We will never know the greatness. I think Scalebound, I'm telling you, I have a good taste for games. And Scalebound looked dope. You know, if that would have been the only game I played on Xbox, that would have been fine with me. I would have been playing that shit. Scalebound 1, 2, 5, whatever the fuck. This shit looked dope. And I just don't get it. Now we found out they closed Fable. And now we found out that developers of Night. Hell, if that game would have came out on launch, I probably would have bought an Xbox on launch because RPGs are just dope. It's a great genre. It is so much content, you know, especially now with the decision making and you create your characters and, you know, an open world. It's just gotten better and better. Even Final Fantasy 15 using some of the Western formula. And you see how amazing those games got. It's just crazy, you know, like, man, you know, and it's just weird. It's just bugged out, you know, but that's all I wanted to do for this video. What I'm trying to say is, if you're an Xbox dude, love your Xbox. Enjoy it. Play the hell out of it. But do not go down the road where Microsoft does no wrong. You have to use your critical faculties. Use your brain. Ask yourself. Do some research. Look at the past. Remember, this is the company that had Netflix behind a paywall with Xbox Gold. Now, granted, they don't do that no more only because Sony kicked their ass. A lot of the policies that Microsoft don't have no more was simply because Sony was kicking their ass. So while some of you hate Sony, you should be thanking them because them helped shape Microsoft what they are now. That ass kicking, that bit of humble pie, May Microsoft change a lot of policies because we actually don't know the type of company we would have now if Microsoft would have came out kicking and screaming, beating out Sony from day one. We probably will have a totally different company that gives no fucks on what's going on, you know. But again, with that Sniper Elite, I like I said, the memory banks came back. It just reminded me of something because, like I said, I've been paying attention going back to the late '90s, and now we found out that Microsoft been canceling games from the start. It's just crazy. It's just bananas. You know what I'm saying? I'll be honest. I hope Scorpio takes off, and I hope Microsoft has a phenomenal E3. I genuinely hope Microsoft has a better E3 than PlayStation, than Sony. I genuinely hope that. I'm not gonna lie. I know I prefer PlayStation through and through, but Microsoft E3 has to be better than Sony's. It has to be. It cannot be worse. It just can't. You know what I'm saying? Microsoft's taking too many L's to kick off 2017, and we're only in February. They need to have a rock solid, like, fuck, I hope they have a contract with DC and make exclusive Batman games. I'll fucking buy that shit day one. For real. Something, bro. Just do something. Captain America, Square Enix got the Marvel. Fucking get DLC rights, damn game rights from DC, and make Batman and Arrow games. Some shit. Do something. But anyway, I'm going to be out. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm about to go on the multiplayer podcast. Thank you for joining. All right. If you're new, subscribe. Tell your peoples. Man, you guys are awesome. I love it. I love all you Xbox, PC, and I'm trying to get Nintendo dudes here. But man, you guys are weird, man. You guys, I'm trying to relate to y'all, but you're not helping me. But anyway, I'm about to get on the multiplayer podcast. All right. You guys are good. Enjoy it. Tomorrow's Friday. Great weekend. I'm gonna be playing that Neo. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, you take care. All right. And see y'all Wednesday. 60 frames. No lag podcast. That's my sound. Peace.